The winter sun had barely risen when 12-year-old Arham stepped out of his small house made of cracked bricks and a rusted tin roof. The air was sharp and cold enough to bite the skin, and his breath came out in small clouds as he walked barefoot along the narrow street. His old slippers had torn the previous week, and he couldn't afford new ones yet. But none of that stopped him, because he had a responsibility. Every morning before school, he delivered newspapers across several blocks to earn a little income for his mother, who worked long hours cleaning houses. Arham's fingers were red from the cold, trembling slightly as he stacked the newspapers under his arm. Still, he whispered to himself, one more day, just another day. The streets were quiet, except for the distant barking of a stray dog and the occasional rumble of a passing rickshaw. As Arham crossed the road to deliver to his next house, something shiny near the sidewalk caught his eye. He bent down, brushing dirt aside, and discovered a black leather wallet, expensive looking, with a silver emblem on the corner. Arham's heart skipped. He picked it up gently and slowly opened it. Inside were thick bundles of cash, important ID cards, and a photograph. The money alone was more than he and his mother earned in several months. His eyes widened, not in greed, but in shock at how much someone must be missing this. He stared at the bills. His mind whispered temptations he didn't want. If I take even a little, no one will know. I could buy shoes. I could help my mother with groceries. We haven't had a full meal in days. His stomach growled at the thought. But then, he looked at the photograph tucked inside the wallet. It showed a man, a woman, and a small child smiling at a park. The man's hand rested lovingly on the child's shoulder. They looked like a family that adored each other. Arham whispered, someone must be looking for this. He touched the picture again, remembering his father who had passed away 2 years ago. He remembered how his mother cried at night when she thought Arham was asleep. He remembered how important memories and small belongings can be. He closed the wallet firmly. No matter how tempting, he couldn't take something that didn't belong to him. Arham began asking a few people around if they had seen someone. Heads. Bystanders shrugged. Everyone seemed too busy or unconcerned. Some even said, keep it. Why return it? Rich people won't care. But Arham refused to listen. His heart was small but honest. Finally, he found a business card inside the wallet with a name and phone number, Mr. Saad Ali. The name sounded important, maybe a businessman. Without hesitating, Arham walked nearly 2 kilometers to a public phone booth. His feet were numb, but his determination was strong. He inserted a coin and dialed the number. A worried voice answered immediately, hello. Yes. Who is this? Arham swallowed nervously. Sir, I found a wallet. I think it's yours. The voice on the other end said nothing for a moment, then burst with relief. What? My wallet? Are you sure? Son, this is very important. Where are you? I'm coming right now. Arham told him the location, the small bakery at the corner. 15 minutes later, a car stopped in front of the bakery. A man in his 40s stepped out, his face pale with stress but hopeful. When he saw the wallet in Arham's hands, his eyes widened. You found it? He asked breathlessly. Arham nodded and gently handed it over. The man opened it, sighed with overwhelming relief, then looked at Arham with a mix of gratitude and disbelief. Son, thank you. You don't know what this means to me. But before Arham could respond, the man noticed his bare feet, bruised and cold. His torn shirt, his thin arms trembling from winter wind. Did you walk all the way here to return it? Arham smiled shyly. Yes, it was the right thing to do. That one sentence touched the man more deeply than anything else could. Little did Arham know, this act of honesty was about to change his entire life. Mr. Saad stood there for a moment, staring at the boy who had just returned something most adults would have walked away with. The bakery's warm light spilled across the pavement, highlighting Arham's shivering hands and his cracked, cold feet. The boy's clothes were thin, worn out, and far from enough for the harsh winter air. Yet Arham's eyes held something rare, honesty, calmness, and a quiet strength beyond his age. Son, come inside, Mr. Saad said gently. Arham shook his head. I have to finish delivering newspapers, sir. I don't want the customers to complain. Mr. Saad smiled slightly at the boy's sense of responsibility. At least have something warm first. He guided Arham inside the bakery, ordered him a hot cup of milk and a warm bun. The boy's frozen fingers wrapped around the warm cup like it was a treasure. He took small sips, as if savoring every drop. Mr. Saad watched quietly. You didn't take a single rupee from the wallet? He asked softly. Arham looked up, surprised. No, sir. It wasn't mine, mister. Saad leaned forward, genuinely curious. But why return it? You could have helped yourself. Arham took a slow breath. My mother says, even if we are poor, we should never steal. We earn our own bread, even if it's small. There was a purity in his words that made something in Mr. Saad's heart melt. After Arham finished his bun, Mr. Saad insisted on giving him some reward money. A small envelope, enough to buy shoes, clothes, and food. But Arham stepped back and pushed the envelope gently toward him. No sir, I didn't return it for money. I'm happy you got it back. It was so rare, so unexpected, so pure. Mr. Saad knelt to match the boy's height. At least tell me about your family. Arham hesitated, but something about the man felt safe. My father passed away 2 years ago. My mother works cleaning houses. I deliver newspapers before school and sometimes after school too. In school, Mr. Saad asked softly. Arham smiled sadly. I go when I can. Some days, I have to skip because I help my mother. Mr. Saad felt a tightness in his throat. This boy had every reason to take the money, poverty, struggle, hunger, yet he didn't. He returned the wallet without expecting anything. After a long moment, Mr. Saad stood up. Arham, come with me. Arham stepped back nervously. Sir, where? Just nearby, Mr. Saad assured him with a warm smile. Trust me. Despite being unsure, Arham followed. They reached a shoe shop. Pick a pair, Mr. Saad said. Arham froze. But sir. No but, your feet are freezing. Arham looked down at his bruised, numb feet, hesitating to step inside. He had never bought shoes from a proper shop before. The shopkeeper smiled warmly at him as he tried on a pair of thick, warm shoes that felt like heaven to his cold feet. After the shoes, Mr. Saad took him to a clothing store and bought him a warm jacket. This is too much, Arham whispered, tears forming. It's too little, Mr. Saad replied softly. As they walked, Mr. Saad asked more about Arham's mother, what she did, how much she worked, and how much they earned. When Arham told him everything honestly, the man stopped walking. Arham, he said gently, I want to meet your mother. Arham blinked in confusion. Why, sir? Because she raised a boy with a heart of gold. And because, I think I can help. Arham wasn't sure what he meant, but something inside him felt warm, hope, a feeling he hadn't felt in a long time. They walked together through the cold evening streets until they finally reached the small, fragile house Arham called home. A dim bulb flickered outside, and a thin curtain acted as the door. Arham's mother, tired and pale, stepped out. Arham, I was worried. She stopped when she saw the stranger. Before she could question anything, Mr. Saad spoke respectfully. Madam, your son returned my wallet. With everything inside, and in doing so, he has taught me something invaluable. Her eyes softened in pride and surprise. Then Mr. Saad continued, I have a job offer for you, and a future for him. The mother's breath caught. Arham stood silently, unsure what this meant, but his life was about to change. Arham's mother stared at Mr. Saad, confusion mixed with worry in her tired eyes. She wiped her hands on her dupatta and stepped forward with hesitation. Sir, what job are you talking about? She asked softly. Mr. Saad smiled gently, trying to ease her tension. Madam, your son returned my wallet today. Every card, every paper, every rupee, untouched. And he walked miles barefoot just to give it back. He paused, looking at Arham with admiration. A heart like his is rare. Arham's mother's eyes filled with emotion. She placed her hand on her son's head lovingly. He has always been honest, she whispered. Even when we had nothing. Mr. Saad nodded. I own a small company nearby. I want to offer you a stable job there, better pay, safe hours, and no need to work multiple houses. The woman gasped, tears spilling instantly. It felt too sudden, too good, too unreal. Sir, why would you do this for us? She asked, her voice trembling. Because kindness deserves kindness, he replied softly. Your son has given me more faith in humanity than I've felt in years. Arham watched the two adults, not fully understanding the magnitude of what was happening. He stepped closer to his mother and tugged at her sleeve. Mama, is he really giving you a job? He whispered. She hugged him tightly and sobbed. Yes, Arham, because of you. But Mr. Saad wasn't finished. He knelt down to Arham's level. And you, young man, I want you to study. No more skipping school to deliver newspapers. Your future belongs in a classroom, not on the streets. Arham's eyes widened. But sir, we need the money. If I stop working, how will we eat? Mr. Saad placed a reassuring hand on his shoulder. I will take care of it. Your mother will earn enough with her new job. And I will cover your school fees, uniforms, books, everything. Arham felt something he had forgotten how to feel, hope. Strong, bright, warm hope. But even then, he asked shyly, why me, sir? I didn't do anything special. Mr. Saad shook his head gently. You did something extraordinary. You chose honesty when it was hard. You chose goodness when you could have chosen convenience. That makes you special. Arham dropped his gaze in humble silence. That evening, Mr. Saad stayed for tea. Their tiny home had only 2 cups, so Arham and his mother took turns drinking. But instead of judging, Mr. Saad looked at their small house with deep respect, because he saw love, honesty, and strength within it. Before leaving, he handed Arham a small wrapped package. Open this when I leave, he said with a wink. Arham nodded eagerly. The next day, Arham's mother began her new job in Mr. Saad's company. She was given a clean uniform, respectful colleagues, and fair hours. For the first time in years, she returned home with a smile that wasn't forced. Arham went to school with new shoes, a warm jacket, and a backpack, all from the package Mr. Saad had given him. Inside the package was also a small note. This is just the beginning. Study well. The world needs boys like you. Saad Ali. Weeks turned into months. Arham stopped delivering newspapers and focused completely on school. His teachers noticed his dedication, his grades improved quickly. His mother's health improved too, less stress, better food, proper rest. Every Sunday, Arham and his mother visited Mr. Saad's home, where they were welcomed like family. His daughter played with Arham, and his wife often packed meals for them. Slowly, the relationship grew from gratitude, to friendship, to something like family. One evening, almost a year later, during a small celebration at Mr. Saad's home, he placed his arm around Arham and said proudly, "This boy is not just someone who returned my wallet. He is the reason I started believing in the goodness of people again." Arham's mother wiped her tears, overwhelmed. Arham smiled shyly, his eyes glowing with gratitude. "Sir, I didn't do anything big." Mr. Saad shook his head. "You did something many adults fail to do. You chose honesty. And honesty is the foundation of a great life." Arham looked around the warm home, the happy faces, the love he felt everywhere. He whispered to himself, maybe kindness really comes back, even bigger. And it did. Because one small act of honesty changed not just Arham's life, but the lives of everyone around him.